Hi, Scorpio. It's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology, and today I'm here to discuss the horoscopes for April of 2026. So, April's always an exciting month, and because it is the month of Aries, and then we have Taurus, right? On the 19th, the sun will enter Taurus. So for the first, 19, 18 days and, some hours here, we have the sun being ruled by Mars. And Mars is your ruler because it is you, Scorpio, and Aries both share Mars as a ruling planet. Okay, so what is Mars? Mars is the planet of courage. It's a planet of action, right? So when Mars is in our sign or somewhere in our chart, it is telling us it's time to do this, or, it's giving us courage, it's giving us drive. It can sometimes tell us, you can do this, you got this, go ahead, right? Giving us confidence and courage. So the beginning or the first 19 days really are going to be focused on Aries energy, right? Ruled by Mars. So Aries wants new beginnings. Aries represents the first house and the first sign, which is when we are born in the natural chart, because that is the rising sign. The first house is the rising, it determines the first house, right? Or determines the ascendant or the rising sign. So let's see what we have here. But on the 1st of April, Scorpio, we have the full moon in Libra. And I have a video on that if you'd like to see that. And I talk about the transit and how the full moon is affecting you. The full moon for Libra will be in your 12th house of endings. It is the house of surrender and release. And this is surrender to the divine, right? That is the 12th house. So, but we have after the full moon here, the energy for you will be in the fifth house. Yeah. And the fifth house is the house of love and pleasure. This is romantic desire. It is self-expression and how you shine your talents. It's self-identity. A sense of self is the sun, and that is where the sun is ruling the fifth house. Um, so for you, yeah, the first part of April will be in your fifth house, and that will be also of creative pursuits and children. This is the house of fun and entertainment as well, recreational activities and things like that. So the energy will shift as natal Mars moves into your sixth house after that. And natal Mars will move into your sixth house on the ninth. Is that the ninth? Yeah, enters Aries on the ninth. Um, and so moving from Pisces to Aries, Aries is your sixth house. The sixth house is the house that makes our life function. It is where it is our work, our health, our daily affairs, right? Your daily routines, your daily obligations, and things like that. That is the sixth house. It's also the house of small pets, right? But we have Mars, your natal Mars conjoins with Neptune on the 12th, Scorpio. And what does Neptune want for us? Or what is Neptune? Neptune is wants us to believe in our dreams and our visions and surrender to the divine. And we have a lot of that a little bit because, um, yeah, because with the full moon in Libra, that is in that same house of endings, right? And that is associated with Neptune here. But Mars will, align with Neptune on the 12th, all right? So this is kind of having the courage to believe in our dreams and go after those. And yeah. And so we also have they're both at 12 degrees, and we're calling this a perfect conjunction. The conjunction is the most favorable aspect, really, is definitely high on the list there. Your creative energy could be high as well when we have that, because Neptune wants to, it's a creative, it's coming from believing in fantasy, that type of creativity, believing in fantasy and daydreams and sometimes illusions, though. But we're also going to have, and so we also have Mercury here. And Mercury will be in Pisces still, and that is inviting you to think before jumping into anything. Mercury is the planet of the mind, planet of thinking and communication. And so Mercury rules anything, our thoughts, our conversations. decisions and choices, willpower even. And so we have to be able to think a little bit with Mercury there because Neptune can also blur the lines because of the fantasy and the daydreaming and the beautiful creative kind of escapist kind of attitude. So you could have spiritual insights as well when we have Mercury conjoining Neptune, as they could have that as well. Um, And but it is the same dreams that, that will support the same dreaminess of Neptune that will support your dreams and your visions. We also have Saturn. Saturn will be conjoined with Mars, the planet, your planet of action, basically, and Saturn, and that will be on the 19th. And so that alignment will bring a seriousness to whatever you believe in or whatever you are. Maybe anything spiritual, any kind of spiritual endeavors or spiritual insight, maybe. But the Saturn will bring a seriousness, a kind of maturity to whatever you are creating, right? And Neptune will be there. Neptune needs Saturn in that way because Neptune is very dreamy and kind of, in the clouds and wow, this can work out for me just so beautifully and, but we need a little structure, right? And that's where, that will support Neptune. So we have Mercury, the planet of intelligence, which will also enter your sixth house of work, health, and daily affairs. So maybe this is what you are kind of thinking about, Scorpio. As Mercury enters your sixth house, Mercury will enter Aries on the 14th, and that will be into your very practical daily sixth house, right? The Sun enters Taurus on the 19th of the month, and this will be shining down on your house of partnerships. This is balance and harmony and how you create it, how you relate to others, relationship or not really, but how you're relating and your opponents, right? People that, or just things that you don't maybe agree with. This is opponents, right? And so, um, yeah, and so when the sun enters Taurus, that will enter that house. And so, and Venus will enter Gemini on the 23rd. So Venus is the ruler of love, and it's love and beauty as for Libra, but for Taurus, it is the ruler of finance and self-worth and possessions, material comfort. So we have that there, right? Venus rules both Taurus and Libra, but Venus will be entering into Gemini, and this will be actually bringing more psychological awareness and insight as it enters your eighth house of transformation in Gemini. Let's have a look at that, Scorpio. I want to make sure that is your eighth. Yes, it is. So as as Venus enters that eighth house, there could be secret relationships. There can be, because the eighth house is the house of what is hidden, and that is where Venus will be entering. The eighth house is a money house as well. Venus is a money sign as well. So the eighth house is also about shared assets and inheritances and even joint finances and things like that. Venus itself is about finance and material comfort as well. So there could be something going on that is really changing with those themes, right? Maybe you are understanding something that's been hidden or just maybe very kind of mystical to you or something like that, because that is the eighth, right? And so Venus will support your relationship and your finances there. Yeah. And relationships might feel a little bit detached or cerebral during during excuse me, Venus's transit in Gemini. All right. So thank you so much for joining me here, Scorpio. And if you've enjoyed my content, please like, share, and subscribe and hit the little bell, and you'll be notified of my next upload. My next upload will likely be the new moon in Aries. And that will be, I think I mentioned this though to you earlier, that will be important to you because Mars also rules Aries. And that should be my next video coming in, the new moon in Aries. So thanks so much and make it a great day.